And coach, it's been 24 days. You had to do it without 5 guys in the lineup, and you had to kind of mix and match.
Yeah.
What did you like from your team here throughout this performance?
I thought it was great because I just think we got a lot out of this game. And, looking at when we got shut down and saying, and you didn't know how long it was going to take, but when you started doing the math on things with, guys in isolation or quarantine or whatever, you're like, our first game back's not going to be until Portland State, about a month away. So being able to get this game was really important. And I just thought that, they've got some good players. And I thought that they made us play hard. They challenged us. I thought we were exposed a little bit. Even just a lot of their points were just, guarding one-on-one. And going into the Portland State game, who's very talented, they got a bunch of good guards and a bunch of guys really at 5 spots that can kind of try to break you off the bounce. That game replicated some of what we will see on Thursday and Saturday. But I think that was great. From a roster personnel standpoint, obviously, like I said, 5 guys that are not back with us yet. And for guys to step up and play that hadn't played quite a bit, like a guy like Malcolm Little, or guys that had to play different roles. Like there are times where Dalen Kuntz is at the 4, and he's never had to do that. Bryce Kennedy at the 5,
right.
He's never had to do that. So that might be our situation for a while. We don't know. So I thought we got a lot out of just being put into some uncomfortable situations.
You mentioned that Bryce being at the 5, but he really stepped up earlier this season. You talked about his ability, if he can add the 3 ball to his repertoire, what kind of factor he could be here in the Big Sky Conference. He hits 4 of them here tonight. Malcolm comes out and puts on a show here in the second half in his opportunities with 15. Really got to like what you got from those guys, but then 2 guys that have been steady for you all year. Core has 14 and 10, and then Matt Johnson II just efficient, 6 of 7 from the floor, and only misses 1 shot, 15 points for Matt as well.
No, I going back to Bryce and Malcolm, with Bryce, Bryce going back to that Eastern Washington series, which Eastern Washington right now is clearly the top team in the league, and we beat them, and we had a great game in the second game. We were right there. Bryce was a big part of that. And as we move forward into our next series, Bryce wasn't able to go with us. He was in a quarantine situation, and so he's out. So, which was just a killer, not just for the team, but he was playing. He had established a role in the team. We started to figure some things out. There's so many new guys this year. It takes time to figure out, how to get the guys in the right roles. So, by the time Bryce is ready to go, we're shut down. And I was very happy with how Bryce played tonight. Again, not just the fact that he hit 4 threes, which is very important for him because that's a huge deal, but he plays hard. He's got obviously a physical presence. He's one of our biggest, strongest guys. And I just thought he did a lot of great things at the 4 and the 5. And then, Malcolm, coming in and just playing with confidence. It's not easy to not have played much and then to come in and play with that much confidence. So I was really proud of Malcolm. Did some great things. Not just knocking down shots. That was obviously a pretty big thing on the stat sheet, but playing hard on both ends of the floor. And Coor, his consistency is really good. He's done a great job. He's been playing well. Matt's been playing really well as well. So that was good to see.
One of the things that I looked at and the stat sheet right now says 0 offensive rebounds for him. I think they got one late there towards the end, but to hold a team to whether it's 0 or 1 offensive rebound, you got to love the defensive effort on the glass.
I thought it was great. I thought that was a big deal, and I thought that, one of the things as we move forward, Portland State is one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country. They'll send 4 or 5 guys to the glass, and they always play the same way, and it's really hard to keep those guys off the glass. You're not going to hold them to 0 or 1, but we really stress that using this game to try to get some habits back and to try to limit the offensive rebound opportunities for Warner Pacific. So whether it was 0 or 1, that's not easy to do. I think they missed 31 or 33 shots, and just to not have 1 or 2 bounce to them, that means I think our guys' effort was pretty good on that end of the floor.
You mentioned Portland State, a team that is a little bit different from everybody else you're going to see. They like to guard you. They like to get after you. They'll guard 94 feet from the basket. Tough to replicate in a span of 2 or 3 days going up against something like that. But how do you prepare this team for Thursday's and Saturday's game? Yeah,
I think the biggest thing with Portland State, like you said, it's so different than any other team in the league. They're going to press for 40 minutes. They're going to crash 5 guys to the glass. Those are the 2 main things, but they play hard. They're going to play 10, 11 guys. They just kind of sub guys in waves. And so if you don't, like we told our guys as we were preparing for this, if you don't match their intensity, that's a big deal. If you don't match their edge, that's a big deal. But then at the same point, you got to have some composure too. You're going to throw the ball away a couple times. They're going to crash a couple times, get an offensive rebound because they do so much of it. But I think just, again, using this game was great for us. And then over the next 2 days, really all we have is just, making it more about us. One of the things that happens with Portland State is when you do break the press, you can't pull it out and run all your sets and plays. There's not enough time to rearrange the pieces. So you just got to go play. and that's where habits and our system is very important. So we'll see how that goes. But they're good. They're playing really well. They're playing their best basketball of the season right now. So we're gonna have to match it for sure.
Coach, appreciate your time. Good to see you back out on the court.
Yeah, it was great. Thanks, Jason.
Head coach Steve Smiley right here on 1310 KFK and Pluto TV 1059. We'll be back with